Hey, you guys, and welcome to the Steele Wars Hyperchat. It is Tuesday, the 22nd of June, 2021. If you are in the chat, just give us a heads up that everything's going A-okay. It has been a week since our last transmission, so I want to make sure we're all plugged in. Oh, Ledra's here with a hello. So she's not mocking me, so it's a pretty good sign. Speaking of good signs, today we have got a special guest down the 405 from the Rogue Rebels. It's Sal Perales. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, man. I'm just like chilling right here by the 91 and the 5. You know, just kicking it as per usual. How you doing? Do we have technical difficulty? Am I frozen? Is Steele frozen? Who's frozen? Help me, YouTube. You're my only hope.
This is... What is going on? Sal, are we here together?
I can hear you. Well, I could for a second.
Unbelievable. I'm trying not to move. Like that's going to do anything.
Dude, I can only tell if you're there if you move.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to bump anything. Do you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh.
You're doing one of those like, hear me, baby, hold togethers.
Yes. That's, I think I haven't hooked up the Ethernet internet yet. So I feel like that is, the whole setup saying do that. But yes, we will acknowledge that it has been 0 days without a technical accident. Sal, if there's one thing we know about Sal, is he loves his books and comics. There's the new High Republic books coming out this week, I think.
Next week.
Are you one of the chosen few that is bequeathed its pages in preview form?
So, yes. I just this morning finished the big one. Like, I read the little one first because it's Daniel Jose Older did the I guess like young reader or middle grade or whatever, and it's Race to Crash Point Tower. And I was like, well, that's DJ Older. I'm reading that one first. Like, that's gonna be the dope one. And I read it and it was awesome, but I just read the big one, which is the Cavan Scott, what is it? The Rising Storm, like the big follow up to Light of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty mind blowing, dude. I was very, look forward to my spoiler free review on the roguerebels.com next Tuesday, probably.
No plug, Sal. Come on.
Don't tell me how to do my job.
Don't listen, buddy. Come on. Enough with the plugs. You don't, you
want me to talk about Star Wars? I'm going to talk about Star Wars, where I also talk about Star Wars at roguerebels.com.
All right. Well, you don't see me letting people know, right, that on the Steele Wars Patreon, there's a new episode of Star Wars U by Podcast, episode 25, covering the first few months of 1984, exclusively for patrons on the $3 or up tier.
That's true.
In both audio and video.
That's
content
really
feed. With Hawes Burkhardt.
That's fair. Hawes is a wonderful person. I've also had Hawes on a couple episodes of the Rogue Rebels podcast, which are some really, really good lessons where we talk comics and Light of the Jedi.
Again with the plug, Sal. As I was just pointing out, you don't see me going on about the new content in video and audio format.
I know.
At patreon.com/Steele Wars. You don't see me doing that.
Yeah, and it's also like a really that's challenging considering the amount of content that you get with a Patreon subscription over at Steele Wars.
Bloody hell. Don't even get me started. Look at it. Look at it. Just chalk it up. Chalk it up. Look. See all 1,185 posts, Sal. Let's go through them now. Bang. Anyway, you don't see me doing that.
No, it's true. I don't.
Emily Lynn's just not getting the message.
No, she's getting the message. She's getting a really good message, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, speaking of plugs, I put up today on my podcast that many of our Australian listeners or viewers would know. I Love Green Guide Letters. A lost episode just went up today on all your podcast feeds, featuring Nick Mason from the Weekly Planet, who guests on here now and then. So go check that out. However, what about comics? Before we get to we're going to talk about Leslye Headland talking about the Acolyte at the avclub.com. But what's happening in comics at the moment, Sal? What are you feeling?
I mean, like, everything is War of the Bounty Hunters or High Republic. So, like, they're kind of both killing it, but the High Republic stuff I'm really jazzed about right now. The High Republic Adventures series that just like the first 5 issues, like the first complete little arc, just released like last week, and it was really, really, really dope.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that's what I'm feeling.
Sal actually gifted me a couple of I don't know, like very junior reader Mandalorian books with Baby Yoda, most importantly. And they've been getting a bit of a read. The sticker sheet in one of them that you gave us, Sal, very tempting.
Yeah, Axel just like went through some of the stuff we've had, and he's like, using these stickers, dude. So I just came up to his desk, and he had all kinds of Rebel stickers over, and it's like this Rebel sticker book that he found that we've had for 7 years. You know, that 7 years ago we were like, don't touch those stickers, and now he's like, I got a comic box and the stickers are on it. I believe he also oh man, if I could find it. He literally, okay, wait. This is good. You're gonna love this.
Oh, it's good, is it? We'll say.
He redid his room, and he hung up one of these that he found.
Ah, that is good. You are correct. Yeah. That was worth it.
He's got a lot of stuff hanging.
What is that? What is that light up Star Wars logo?
Oh, yo, dude, this is like Axel's all about the vibe in here. And I don't know how to do it, but it goes like that. Bam.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, this is the kids' room. The kids' room is awesome. And he also got Dirge recently for all of his... he was much looking forward to the comics that are reintroducing Dirge into canon. And...
Dirge now. I saw a bit of Dirge on Disney Plus the other day.
Yeah. He went and started watching those old shows again. And but the comic doesn't come out till like next... It's like another week or two, so he's still like, when is it coming out? I'm like, that's Dr. Aphra, dude. That don't come out till the end of the month. Every time I go get a new comic, he's like, is Dirge in this one? Mm-hmm. Sorry, sir.
God, every day he's working out it was our planet.
Yeah, every day. Every
now,
Wednesday.
Yeah, I've been watching a bit of the Clone Wars or whatever the different, the little short ones, the not Comedy Central, Cartoon Network ones. Yeah. Because I'm seeing what Star Wars things visually excite Harry, and he was quite captivated with the animation style because it's so basic,
right?
And there's another thing like Star Wars Zip Zaps or Wazoos rollers. There's a couple of there's one where they're all balls, they're all BB-8s. That's been pretty good.
Rollout,
yes, we've been rolling out all over the shop like Optimus Prime, and then there's another one where it's like Star Wars Itchy Bitchies, or I don't know, they're just little sketches and it's BB-8 just bumping into things but it's good times.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for supporting me.
Good times. I believe in you.
Thanks, Sal. Did you have a nice Father's Day?
I did. It was pretty good. I got a couple of Star Wars books on my Amazon list and everything. The whole family uses the Amazon list. We talked about how Lizzie is like, I wanted to get you something that is not on the list. So she sent me the Blu-ray of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Woo!
Wonderful. Love the movie. But when I tried,
you can drive past his house down in Long Beach.
Ah, that's cool. Well, anyway, we already had it on Blu-ray because it used to be Axel's favorite movie.
So now you got two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy Father's Day. I got a travel Blu-ray.
Sal, have you checked out this interview with Leslye Headland at the avclub.com?
I have not, sir. I have so much Star Wars in front of my face that I'm not even looking over the hill at 2022 or 23 or whenever that show comes out. So hit me. What is it? What's going on?
I'll bang it up on the screen just to give them their due. People can go check this out. There is an extra button there, make. Oh, and don't forget to shop at Nike.com, care of the AV Club. Thank God that's gone. So yeah, I'll start with just the setting the scene. Disney Plus's plans for world domination, a silly little joke, include several new Star Wars shows to accompany the streamer's first hit, The Mandalorian. Among them is Star Wars: The Acolyte, a live-action series developed by Russian Doll co-creator Leslye Headland. Have you seen the Russian Doll?
Have not, sir. Look, our HBO Max ends up today, so we just finished. What did we just finish? We watched Mayor of Easttown. It's got nothing to do with Star Wars. It was really good, though.
Ah, with the lady from the boat.
Yes, the lady from the boat.
Excellent. That's a very Frank Costanza way to describe someone.
I want to see the Wikipedia article that links for the lady in the boat redirects here or whatever.
It sounds worse than it is. What was I going to say about the Titanic? Doesn't matter. Anyway. Oh, yes. Russian Doll. Oh, I just started watching The Russians, which is on Amazon Prime last night. And 2 episodes in with, what's her name? Felicity from Star Wars.
No, Felicity Jones? No. Yeah, Felicity Jones?
No, from the show Felicity. Kerry Russell.
Ah. Not Jen Erso.
No.
Yeah, she's cool too.
I'm calling it The Russians. It's called The Americans.
Steele's True Loyalties Exposed.com.
Well, I'm beginning to suspect everyone in the neighborhood as being spies now. This show has got me on edge. But anyway, if you're on Netflix, Russian Doll, it is a show that you've got to put your phone down for. You're not doing it. You've got to take it all in because there's a lot of Back to the Future toing. There's a lot of weird time jumps.
I heard people talking about it. I do want to check it out. It's like Groundhog Day, right?
Yes.
Okay. That was the frame of reference that somebody else had given me.
Yeah, right. It's pretty it's that sort of conundrum that someone's found themselves in. But but the way the detail and it's it's delicious. It's delicious. Oh, just while we're talking about TV, got to say, Friday Night Lights. Have you ever seen that?
Nope, but I'm from Texas. Does that count?
Oh, you probably don't want to watch it then. Triggering. It has 5 seasons. I can't think of a more satisfying show finale.
Ah. You did see Star Wars Rebels, right?
I knew you were going to bring up that little green haired dude. Why has he got green hair? How does that work?
Why do you have brown hair? What's the point?
Anyway, shall we dip into the interview a little?
Yeah.
Sal?
I'm very curious to see. I know she's doing The Acolyte, right?
Doing The Acolyte, which takes place at the end of the High Republic era,
which I'm heavily invested in.
I'm mildly.
Okay.
Just lukewarmly. I enjoyed the first book. I will check this
Mhm.
one out. I do like that it's a new chunk of timeline because I don't have I'm my emotions are a bit battered towards
Mhm.
the end of the sequel trilogy. So I don't really want to delve there anymore. I don't want anything explained. I'm just sort of like, that's that.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
let's get at me when you're jumping forward 10 years with Star Wars 10, and then I'm back in that part of the timeline.
Okay. I like that. Like one thing I will say, like that they do because it's like books and comics, pretty much right now. That sometimes when you're like reading a book and going through stuff, sometimes it's hard to visualize, especially if you don't like if you're reading a book about Luke Skywalker, you already know what Luke Skywalker looks like. But if you read the comics first and
He
then
looks
hop over to the book,
like a young Sebastian Stan. I just imagine that.
like 30s Sebastian Stan, or like how young is young now? Am I older than Sebastian? I don't think I'm older than Sebastian Stan.
Let's not talk about that.
I
I
don't think
still
I'm
feel
young
like
either.
I'm 14.
Anyway, if you read this High Republic comics, it's cool because then when you read the book, you're like, I know exactly what Avar Chris looks like, and Bel Zettifar. Things like that are really fun for me.
Do you know what would be funner? Finding out what they look like every second of the story as it's animated on my TV screen for $7.99 a month.
Doesn't all have to be TV. Doesn't all have to be screen. You and Raj,
Dude.
man. You guys are like, you know what? This would make a really dope live action show. It probably would. You're not wrong. But also, like, I like books sometimes too. You can go deeper.
Sebastian is 38 from Leedra.
I'm officially older than Sebastian Stan.
And Emily says the Droids finale is by far the best. I haven't watched that yet. The Great Heap.
Pretty good.
We've seen two of those. Harry's ducked into, bit of Ewoks. He was captivated by the Ewok flying on the what do you call those things?
The hang glider?
Yeah, the hang glider. I don't know why I couldn't remember hang glider, but it's got the Skynet.
I thought you knew the Ewok word for it, so I was like, oh, okay, maybe he's going super deep. I don't even know that.
The Kabasu.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loved seeing the Ewok fly like that. He was very taken. He was like a giant Ewok drone. It was very exciting. Very into drones.
Let me know how he does with like theme songs, because Droids is a pretty like rockin' theme song. And as a
trouble
kid,
again.
Everything had theme songs, and you knew the theme, like you could sing theme songs at school. Nowadays, nothing has a theme song. Bad Batch is just like, oh, done.
Hey, I get what you mean, but some shows do have theme songs, like this little ditty. Here you go. Sunday, Monday, Corey days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Corey days. Corey Day. What a day for YouTube. This content. See, that's a theme song.
It's a pretty good one, too. It's catchy. We'll see. I'll keep watching the shows and see if we end up singing it. I'll be in my car like, Monday, Monday, Corey days.
Excellent. Anyway, let's get back to this. We're jumping all over the shop like a great podcast should. I'm not saying that we're great yet, but we're getting there. Anyway, AV Club asks, you're the first female showrunner for a Star Wars show, which is a huge development. What is your introduction to that world? And she says, my relationship with Star Wars runs the span of most of my life, and it's changed over the decades. When I was younger, I devoured the films on home video and absolutely loved them. Just a deep connection to the original trilogy. When I was in middle school, I read some novels like Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire and also got into it that way. Then when I was a teenager, I moved from Maryland to Connecticut. We don't need your life story, lady. Come on. And that's right when the re-releases came out. So it had this really huge change in my life, both just being a teenage girl, which in itself is a nightmare. Hey, Sal, haven't we all had that nightmare where we wake up as a teenage girl?
I remember that all.
Man. So I had this really but Star Wars was the anchoring thing that made me happy, which led to me incorporating it into a lot of my writing when I was little. I guess now you would call it fan fiction. Back in my day, I wasn't allowed to go on LiveJournal and whatever was up at the time. Man, too young for LiveJournal. Do you know what LiveJournal is, Sal?
I know of it.
It was great times. So I was just writing it myself, and it was this beautiful way to escape what I was doing in my life, and I absolutely adored it. I loved every aspect of it, from the world building and Ralph McQuarrie's production design to the hero's journey of it all, Luke's arc and what that meant. And she talks about Luke and Vader and the Emperor, and says, I get chills thinking about it. It had this huge effect on me. Do we need to start the one of us chant, Sal?
One of us. One
of
of us.
us.
One of us. Does it work when we're streaming?
Yeah, I think. Chant along in the chat. Everyone. Yeah. So this is very interesting because she does seem like with my I'm a bit older, but her, like the stuff that she was weaving between with the Thrawn books and then the re-releases, that's very much I can relate to that. But very curiously, and I love this, there is someone on the writing team, like in the writer's room, that has never seen Star Wars. She says, what I also learned about hiring my room is that everyone's fandom was very different. No one had the same experience with Star Wars, which is one of the things I find interesting about Star Wars fandom, is how different people in their lives relate to this thing that we're all looking at.
Right.
It's one of the fascinating things about it for me. Anyway, there were these people like myself that were later in life Dave Filoni acolytes. I like how she's using the branding there, getting that acolyte word just into
good.
the
Now we know what the show's really about.
Hats. I literally had one writer that was like, I have never seen any of them. I've never seen any Star Wars media. Now, this might be horrific to some people hearing or watching this, but here we go. But it's like, we'll explain while it's very good. And she's texting me before we started the room, and she's like, Luke and Leia are brother and sister. What the? Laughs. And it was so great because I would really love to know from someone who is not fully immersed in the fandom. What do you think about the pitch we just made? So while she did her due diligence and did a lot of background work and research, at the same time, she was somebody that would kind of talk to and say, okay, so if we take all the kind of signifiers out of it, and this is Star Wars version X, what does this mean to you? And she would be able to give some feedback. Well, I'm kind of wondering what's going on in this character. And in this scene, I'm wondering why so-and-so isn't saying this. Do you have any initial thoughts on that, Sal?
I like the idea. I like the idea that they work together to make the thing work. Like, I like the idea that she is somebody who's followed it so closely and is a super fan. And I think that's something that's happening more and more. You hear about it a lot, like even with like the authors and stuff. Like E.K. Johnston is such like a big fan of Padme, and now she's able to write like 3 Padme books. Like that's really, really cool. And like, why? When I read those books, I can see
seems quite kind of greedy, really.
The details and the love that she puts into those characters. Like, I can, like, the authors or the creators' excitement means they're excited to create. You know what I mean? Like, so that I dig. But also, if you bring in somebody who isn't connected to it in this way, because like she said, like everybody's fandom is different and unique, or like you said, like, you don't have to worry about the person who's like too much a fan of their own head and they're like, oh, and then it's going to be dope because then Luke Skywalker walks in and like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to worry about like the quote unquote fanboy appeasement. There's a check against that. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, for sure. One of the great ironies of like Star Wars, like the new films and sort of what sort of more old school fans like, you know, Rogue One is like, for people that don't like the Disney films, Rogue One tends to be their most favorite. And Tony Gilroy, who, you know, essentially made the film his own, is just, he's just whatever's about Star Wars. And it's like that approach, like, you know, produced what it was. But I think it's great to ensure, because like I want, as a Star Wars fan, I want Star Wars shows to be like the most popular. Like I want the most people watching them as possible, because that makes more. You know what I mean? Like that fuels it up.
Yep.
And to do that, you've got to hit the you know, the heavy mainstream like fan base.
Right.
And like the Acolyte sounds like such a fan heavy like time zone and thing to work out, that it's like 200 years before this, but it's at the end of these books. To have someone that's just a good writer and sort of without that Star Wars baggage go, like what? Like I know, like, for example, on the WWE wrestling, they reference things from 20 or 30 years ago, like their glory days, without any explanation, or like they really harp on that, to where if you're a kid that's like 13 or 8 or something watching it now, you're just like, how are they talk? Like they like, what's this 90? Like, what's that about? So they're not really generating a new like fan base. Like they're sort of losing fans far more than they're generating them. And just to have like a ripper show, but then it's Star Wars as well. Like that's the, you know, like you want these shows to be sort of like Game of Thrones level pop culture, like behemoths.
Right. You want them to be good. Like I kind of don't, you know me, I'm like, don't care about popularity, but I do want the thing to be good. And I want it to have depth. And the thing about Star Wars, it does live in this place with, like, say, Marvel and I don't know, like other stuff that has these huge fandoms. But like with Marvel, you can get it, like, there's something more accessible about the pop culture area where it lives in. And it's almost like sometimes Star Wars is almost like too sacred for its own good. Like you have to treat it with a certain, and you don't have to, just some fans tend to think that, or, you know what I mean? Like, make a good story, make a good Star Wars. Some people don't like when things don't get taken as seriously, or like there's this level of severity or a seriousness that some people apply to it that puts Star Wars in a weird place. Whereas if you just put out like hey man, I just want to make I don't know what a Guardians of the Galaxy equivalent of a Star Wars movie would be, but like, you know, we'll find out when Taika's movie comes out, right? When Taika's movie comes out, I hope it's something that like treats it with that same like serious and whimsy as he did the third Thor movie that was really, really good. But you're probably going to see some fans being like, well, it's not supposed to be like that, but the real Jedi did blah, blah, blue. Yes, sir, this is a Wendy's.
I can't take people, like, I can't handle people that take Star Wars too seriously. They just come off like babies.
Can't hit me with clips like that with no warning, bro.
So I'll jump back a little bit. She talks a bit about the fandom. Just about like fan interaction.
Okay.
And what is your owl? Sounds very sick today, Sal.
The puppies are enraged. I don't know what has happened.
Probably eating the owl.
Son, help the puppies. I'm not going downstairs.
Hey, no one's asking you to, buddy. Because it's interesting with the like having someone that has never watched it. I would love to. I did an experiment in Rogue One days. I got my friend Callum that had never seen a Star Wars to go see Rogue One with me and explain to me what was happening.
Okay.
Without the context of all the other films.
Right.
And he didn't know that Grand Moff Tarkin was dead, by the way.
Yeah, neither did my mom.
Interesting. Did she see the film?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was like, wow, he looks exactly the same. It was like 40 years ago. And I was like, I don't know how to tell you this, but.
Daniel Santos theorized that the dogs are probably mad about people not taking Star Wars seriously.
They're responding to YouTube comments.
Andre Oliveira says Leslye Headland knows Star Wars. It's okay. I agree. Had a point, but it's drifted away. Anyway, I'll talk about this. She's talking about fan output and stuff.
Mhm.
And she says, yeah, but I would say I do it passively, meaning I really enjoy watching what people put together, whether it's videos or memes. The participation of Star Wars fans in social media is something that just makes me excited. I don't know how else to put it. It just makes me feel like everybody's got their own thing that they love about Star Wars.
That's true.
I feel like she's speaking to me.
Mm-hmm. I like that she understands it in that way. That's really cool.
The they ask for as long as there's been Star Wars, there's been LGBTQ plus fans and people of color embracing it. I know I was excited to learn that we were going to be the showrunner for the Acolyte. When you have queer people making anything, it creates a certain anticipation for more meaningful representation. How do you balance making your story more inclusive while also kind of keeping in mind the considerable history involved? Hit me back. We'll do this and come back. I've just got to, I didn't finish my thought about not watching any other shows in The Mandalorian. Remind me. Okay. She says, well, I love this interview that Mark Hamill did where he says, if Luke is gay to you, then of course he's gay. There's such a strong, beautiful thing for him to say. I mean, I use the example of The Matrix as well. Neo is a character that if you're going through an experience of coming out or transitioning, that is a character that 100% appeals to you. And you can completely track that journey in a way. The confirmation of his status is something that is less important, in my opinion, in the first film because it is trying to reach an audience at a level that's almost subconscious or unconscious, which I think is something very important with fairy tales. The Matrix is fascinating in that it's the Wachowski sisters. Is that how you say it? Wachowski?
I have no idea. I thought we used to say Wachowski, but I'm not sure.
Oh, man, I'm going to go with you. But when you watch the Matrix in with the view of it's created by two sisters that were born men, or they and they transitioned. It's like, whoa, the metaphor is pretty wow. It's you can sort of watch it in a whole other way for what how other people can relate to it. The thing is, people will be upset. Luke Skywalker's gay. Why does it matter? And it's like, yeah, exactly. Why does it matter?
Yeah,
it's still if he was gay, it wouldn't affect this all the whole story,
right?
And I guess if you're an EU devout.
Right.
Then maybe, we all remember he's by spaceshipple or something. He's
something like that. Yeah. He had a spaceship. That's about it.
Quite a dating history.
Mm-hmm.
He went out with, or he married a lady that tried to kill him.
Mhm.
and dated a ghost spaceship.
That's true.
You got to get on Space Tinder, Luke.
Just old fashioned. Just wants to meet people the old fashioned way in black holes on board ships that have been lost for 40 years.
I thought, but the new fashion way that he's taken to, he just like flies into a battle, says barely anything, and takes a kid.
Yeah. Didn't even leave a phone number.
So that's going to be great. I just like everything that comes out about this, like from her development process. It's just like, oh yeah, you're talking the talk. You're talking the talk.
And it's but it's important that like that representation, like the Luke thing is really, really cool, and I like that it's there for anybody, but it's also like a like so far, aside from the comics and books, they have not been able to put any like LGBTQ plus meaningful representation, meaning not just like a kiss in the background for a second and a half. You know what I mean? Like there's been no main characters, there's been no allusions, like no subtext, and we're kind of like past that. And you can't say that they don't do it because like, you know, Dr. Aphra is one of the like best comic books going right now, and it's going strong. And like that's a lesbian character. They're like in the books and comics, like they have a lot of representation, which is really, really good. But for some reason, it just stops at the screen. And the fact that you have a creator who's part of that community hopefully will bring it more than like, let's all just imagine like whatever Luke means to you. Like, because that's really, really cool. But it's also not overt the way like it should be represented. You know what I mean? Like it's good to have, but it's also like, go ahead, just give us some representation on screen now. It's time. It's past time.
It's so past time, and it doesn't have to be like the knee-jerk reaction is like that you don't want to like they're not going to be doing anything that Han and Leia didn't do, or like Padme and Anakin. Like, do you know what I mean?
Or Luke and Leia.
It's not like Luke or Leia. It's and I you often hear the what about kids? What about kids? And it's like they're fine. They're like they just go okay. They're like they're gay or they're bi. That's what it's not a. It's only weird because like their surroundings establish that's weird. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like I'm like this is my frustration with my son. Right. He has
have anything to do with Grogu?
No.
Okay.
How dare you? He, you know, where we are in sort of like West Hollywood, you know, he sees, you know, all like walks of life. Like it's, you know, you see things that like, you know, I wasn't exposed to till I was like, you know, 30 or whatever. I grew up in a little town and it was very white bread and stuff. And so he just accepts everyone as normal, which they are. Do you know what I mean? It's just like that's there's all these people, some people like this, some people like this. It's just where we live, it's a lot more evened out. So you see a potpourri, if you will. So I'm glad that he just sees that as anything. It's just like that's his daily life. I would like him, though, to appreciate the magic of the iPad for what it is. It's everything he ever wants to see on this bit of glass in the car as he travels at 60 miles per hour. I just want him to like he just accepts it a little bit.
It's
too willingly.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. I also like my kids are older. I'm just like, can you look out the window once in a while? Like,
I'm
you know,
I'm fine with him wanting to look at it because I acknowledge it's a magic bit of glass that's got everything on it. But when it cuts out for like 5 seconds, cut it some slack because it is a magic window that contains everything in the world on it. That's I just want him to respect the magic window.
Okay.
Maybe I should have called it the magic window instead of the iPad.
Maybe you can set up a nice little like some sort of like little ceremony, and hey, like this is where we're gonna put it down for at night. We put it down and we plug it in. There's where we
for the recharge.
For the recharge, and we thank it for all the hours that it has given us, and we let it rest for an hour.
We thank you for your ever diminishing battery life.
We thank you for your 78%.
78. That's 78% is you're looking good. You are looking good.
You're ready to go to bed.
And I just think, like, I'm, the white male fanboy, and everything that I watch in Star Wars, I'm able to find something to relate to.
Okay.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's not like in the last or in the sequel trilogy, it was Rey, but it was like, that's the Jedi. I relate to Jedi. I relate to babyface, white meat babyface, to coin a wrestling term. That means the goodest of good.
Okay.
You're Ricky the Dragon Steamboats,
Yeah, I like. I mean, people just, I don't know. I think some people just been spoiled too long. You know what I mean? So,
I reckon.
So y'all can just get over it.
Oh, but that's what I was going to talk about before. You didn't remind me, so I'm a little annoyed.
The Mandalorian. Go. I'm reminding you right now.
Yeah, like if you had never seen a Star Wars film, and I know that's very, people go, oh, but you want to like get new fans. Like you want people to, like, I just wonder what that season finale of episode 2 of season 2, like Luke Skywalker is made into such, like if you don't have a history with Luke Skywalker, like all those shots are so overblown. Like it's like, we get it. You got a lightsaber, you're cutting enough.
But like, I think that's also like what you bring to it. Like you watch it and you're like, like it's him. Like when it's like that's what you see. But if you don't know who that is, all you see is this magic guy cutting through everything that was about to kill them. You know what I mean? Like, so I think like some of that you're bringing is informing like what you're taking. You're like, oh, like for some people, like if they don't know it's Luke Skywalker, they're just like some jerk came in to know. They're like some magic guy came in, saved all of them, took the kid. And for me, like the music all helps with that too. The music is really, really good at the end of that episode. And the music builds to that, like, and it builds to him and Grogu saying goodbye. Like the last shots are him like walking down the hallway and little like over the shoulder Grogu, like all the way to the elevator closing, and like it's really well done. Like if you watch that with somebody who has never seen, like imagine the ending of that season 2 is still magic, even if you don't know who that's Luke Skywalker.
I reckon.
I think. I know it's hard for you to imagine.
This is my Mandalorian writing room fan fiction.
Okay.
Right. That if this lady that's working for Leslye Headland, who's never seen Star Wars, was working on The Mandalorian, she'd be like, hey, shouldn't these people just talk a bit more about the exchange of the baby? Like, do you think he should just at least say his name? Like, hey,
Grogu,
you're taking my baby. How about a name? Like, how about a name, Sal? Where do you stand on Namegate?
I'm not arguing against you. I think it was well done.
Oh, it was well done. It was like one of the greatest.
It was one of the. I understand what you're saying.
It was one of the greatest experiences of my life, buddy.
Yeah, I think it.
Let's not forget, Sal. Let's not forget. This is why we do it. This is why we do it. For the Luke Skywalker. I was there.
That's gonna be
Boy,
me.
was I there.
That's gonna be me when when Ezra walks in and like cuts everybody down, and the green lightsaber comes in whatever show.
Oh, Emily Lind drops the This is a hardcore. Emily Lind is the lost Kasdan sister. With this reference, that Luke walks in and says, "I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you."
It's really good.
Aren't you a little short for a 50-year-old Jedi?
I expected someone to be a little older.
What is he? I expected someone a little taller. Is that how it goes? Star Wars reference?
Like that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the first one. Yeah.
Shall we conclude with her thoughts on the maker, George Lucas?
I like him.
But shall we see what her thoughts are?
Okay.
She says, we're all just following in George's footsteps. He is such a deep worshipper of film, and not just the medium of film, but the history of film and the way film has been used. And all the different genres that he has infused the original trilogy with is something that only he can do. He was such a believer of a film as a tone poem that it only makes sense that people who are doing their own side stories or their own series or their own standalones. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. The sentence ended, and I'm like, that sentence doesn't make, but there's another sentence. Okay. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. Ironically, that's how the sentence starts. It makes sense that they're kind of taking one aspect that he may have been interested in or are taking inspiration from and infusing it into their particular content. Oh, and here's just a little she says just about the George's type of films and Star Wars. She says, it's funny because a lot of the feedback that I'll get, and I use the term feedback very lightly. Uh-oh.
I can see it already.
She's going to have her face up against with James Mangold in no time now as offending.
Yeah. Good thing her name doesn't rhyme with ruin anything.
Oh, wow. But when I go on social media, the feedback is, don't make Star Wars political. And I'm like, George Lucas made it political. Those are political films. War is by nature political. That's just what's up.
Straight logic, son.
It's truly what he was interested in talking about and looking at and digging into. And you know, like, yeah, Star Wars all based around like a space Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of irrefutable as she goes on. So it's kind of impossible to tell a story within his universe that doesn't have to do with something that has to be that the characters see externally reflected in whatever's happening in the galaxy at that particular time period of when it takes place. You know, that's another thing that we're kind of inherited from him as well, and hope to kind of keep reflecting in the work, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that people don't see politics in Star Wars is ridiculous. And it's such a thing that, like, it's not even a thing that you can just say, like, well, I, because that's usually the, like, well, I never saw it as, but they, just because you interpret it weirdly, it's like, no, the dude who made it has repeatedly said, like, well, this was based on this, and this was Vietnam, and this was like corporations, and this is, you know, like capitalism, and this is all the things wrong.
Listen,
yeah,
I've got to be honest with you. I've only seen the first 20 seconds of Star Wars. Right? I've just been winging all this the whole time.
Right.
But
you saw the part that said Star Wars and you were like, Steele Wars, what a great idea.
Yeah, but then it says it's a period of civil war.
Mm-hmm.
So I've only seen 20 seconds. But it's already established it's about politics.
It's true.
And from that, I've winged about 1,000 pieces of content. So there you go.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all.
JC Production says Acolyte and Kenobi are the shows I am most looking forward to. Oh, sorry, Emily. Those people don't want it not to be political. They want it to be politics they agree with.
Yup.
That is, yep. Spot on. What's your current? You're a very excitable young man when it comes to Star Wars. Whether you're older than Sebastian Stan or not, what's your peak interest right now, Sal? What's your most interesting?
I mean, I'm enjoying the Bad Batch right now. Like I said, I just finished those High Republic books, so I'm like super hype on High Republic stuff at the moment as well. But yeah, I think like the next thing that I'm really, really looking forward to getting more info on is going to be Visions, because that sounds dope. And it finally sounds like we're getting something at next week, I think? Some sort of animation expo or something.
Yeah.
So they got something happening. Hopefully, I hope we get a little trailer or something. If it's only 2 or 3 months away, maybe we won't, but that's what I want.
Yeah, and like a trailer, of course. Like I'm dying to see.
Yeah.
Like, just we have no idea of like the era or like we're going to see like an animated X-wing or an animated Naboo starfighter. What's going on?
Like it's an anthology series, so you could get any or all of them. You know what I mean? There could be one story that's in like Resistance times, one story that's in High Republic times, one story. You know, you could. I have no idea. You know. And it's supposed to be 10 episodes, and they're all different from what I hear.
Them all being different, I don't like that because I like things to match. But I haven't seen any of it. But I would prefer that it all matched because I like order and I'm not very artistic.
Okay.
But I'm super. I'm not I'm like Book of Boba Fett because.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the next live action, and to see, that they're gonna like fill in, do some flashbacks and stuff. Like it sort of doesn't matter like what happens in the show. Like I'm sure it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Great confidence in it, but it doesn't really like just to see like those flashbacks. It's just going to be like,
nice.
Like I know I'm gonna like get pumped about it, but.
I think I'll be super pumped because right about then is when War of the Bounty Hunters is going to be over. So I think I'll be like ready to go into Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
Yeah. Andor.
I'm not that hyped for Visions. I'm fascinated by it, but all I need is a little bit of animation. Give me a peek. Show me some things to gasp at.
Mm-hmm.
A definition. Like how long is it? What time periods is it going to be in? What characters are we seeing? Do we know the characters? Are there characters we don't know? And I could be, I will be all about it. But I haven't got enough to imagine yet. Do you know what I mean? I've got, it's too wide open. I need some
10 stories from 10 acclaimed anime directors. I have no idea who they are. I don't know what that means. But I know I like anime, and I know they create something visually stunning, and it'd be Star Wars. And there's a book called Ronin that's somehow connected to one of the episodes. So that already like hits all my like cool like samurai style like thematic buttons, even though I have very little information to go.
What about if one of the 10 tales takes place in the High Republic?
That would be rad. It would be really, really cool if we could see some of those characters. You know what I mean? Like in animated form. I really like the ones they do on YouTube that are just kind of like little, I don't know, like comics.
I yearn for 9-hour versions of them. I want someone to like animate the audiobook for me. That would be amazing. But it would be very smart to do. Like just to like to boost like book, like you would see an uptick in book sales if one of those episodes was featured like some of the what was it? I've forgotten. Cara Chris or whatever. What's her name?
Avar Chris, Elzar, Man, Stellan, Geos, Loden, Greatstorm. Who do you want? Bell, Zedifar,
Greatstorm.
Indira, Stokes. Oh, Greatstorm is he's the dopest. Yeah.
I'm into it.
Skier.
Sal, got to go pick up the young Padawan, the little boy that does not respect the magic glass window. Would you like to let the good people of the internet track you down?
Hey, you can check us out at theroguerebels.com. We have a podcast, the Rogue Rebels Podcast. Go check it out. We're talking all about the Bad Batch right now. We're on Twitter at Rogue Rebels Fam, and we're on TikTok and Instagram at The Rogue Rebels. We dress up in costumes. We like Star Wars. I have a lot of lightsabers. That's about it.
I love that as a plug for the podcast. I got a lot of lightsabers. Hey?
I should bring those out on the Instagram more, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I love your
that's
your
a TikTok thing. Yeah.
I get worried about you getting hurt though. But Sal, I think I'll be back with our young friend Corey and Aubrey on Thursday. So bounce back, listeners and viewers. This episode's up on the iTunes feed, and if you want to get all the audio of all the content we do, it's just $3 a month on Patreon, patreon.com/Steele Wars. Honor the algorithm, do all that good stuff, and hey, you know what else I'd do? I would acknowledge the length of time of this episode and say,
long enough.
And say, may that force be with you. Imagine never having seen Star Wars before, though. You wouldn't. You just couldn't believe it.
Did you know? I've never seen it. All those screenings we went to, we never saw anything.
What I did was I kept my eyes closed just to keep the charade up. You know.
I basically just respond to YouTube videos.
You seem like the last person that responds to YouTube videos. So.